Like Jay said, one thing is for sure. We're going to hear a lot of information and see a lot of things that are going to surprise us or not surprise
Yeah, I
us.
think this. Yeah, this is just a big. We're just in the beginning stages. So you can imagine it's gonna take some time, but I'm not sure what comes from this. Um, it's still like it's insane.
Right. For some shit that we never thought would happen. We thought that old man was going to go off into the sunset gracefully.
Yeah, I don't know what happens from here, but I guess my value in law enforcement experience just went up.
Oh, shit. Then
I would tell you like this.
you going to
I
catch a
would tell you
raise?
like I do think that it's crazy because like all these people that we talk about, like sometimes take myself out of it, because it's not my life every day. I'm like, it's insane that my brother and I were involved in some of these historic like type of events and meetings with these type of people, and where we're at today and where we're sitting and talk to you about it. It all comes back to the shy, literally, huh?
No shit. Chris Burns says, Twin, you don't think Ivan sent his brother over with Mayo to make a deal? Mayo kids rolled on Chapo and got crazy deals. So now it's Mayo's turn to take the fall. That's 3.5 years in the feds after. That's 3 to 5 years in the feds after
Hey,
40.
yeah, but for sure he didn't turn himself in, and I'm gonna tell you that's probably one of the most outrageous, craziest stories you could ever think of. That they tricked them or kidnapped them and put them on the plane to work out a deal for um, Chapo Sons, um, and that's why he's probably already on bond. That's why they're showing that he's not in custody.
They're showing that who's not in custody.
Chapo Sons,
Oh,
but him turning himself in would be crazy.
Mayo turning himself in.
You know? Yeah. So basically, like he didn't turn himself in. It could have been like that he was supposedly tricked into jumping on a plane and then he landed in the U.S. or he was forced.
Right.
So this is going to create lots of problems in Mexico for sure.
Forced on the plane.
Forced, put on, kidnapped, however, but they made it happen.
Right. Some way or another, he got on that plane.
Yeah, that's Chapo Sons, that little thing they put together, I will say, is, one of a kind, huh?
What, their little faction? The Chapitos?
hmm
It's a hell of a faction, huh?
Like, when you start playing, like dirty, and that's, you imagine all the stuff they know of dirtiness in that type of world, you could come up with some real dirty ideas, right?
They snatched up the man that people thought were untouchable, if that's the scenario. One way or the other, because people keep differentiating, right? Like, as far as I'm concerned, people are going to start, people who Mayo is their hero, they're already going to start the, we never believed he got caught, but he didn't get caught. He turned himself in, or they kidnapped him, whatever. Caught is caught, bro.
Oh, yeah, man. No, just so you know, it's just like, look, it's two different worlds, right? What's happening today, it's going to go down in history, right? Mm-hmm. And I know that, me and my brother sometimes will kind of use it to be like, I told you. I'm like, it's something that we already knew, right? Mm-hmm. It never bothered us for people to, say, oh, we're snitches or that, because it's not like I did it. I'll say it again. It was the most, legit or maybe, honorable or organization, and I didn't know none of the stuff I knew.
Right.
Would that have like changed my, basically decisions? I don't know, because I believe that my decision was made, because I had a bigger calling, right? Mm. And but I certainly think that started kind of, I guess, changing my thought and my ideas of what was going to happen, right? Of like what I believed in, and I got to see all these things firsthand. And to me, at that time, even though there was like the Cartel de los Sapos, the novela, the Cartel de los Sapos was like, I remember it was being bootleg. I have never heard of it, and they brought it to me right in the middle while we were cooperating. I said, you have to watch this novela. You know, it's about all the Colombians basically, you know, doing deals. And here I am, literally in the middle of cooperating. Okay? So of course I wanted to see it. And the minute I started kind of like seeing it, like I was into it. Right. You know, I didn't get to finish it off there. I was seeing a bootleg, but I got, you know, later on when I was in prison, I eventually got to see it. I wanted to translate rerun. But even then, I wasn't like outspoken about, you know, my situation. But in my mind, I was like, I guess, you know, great minds do think alike. And, you know, later on, you know, it's something like, where, you know, you heard the story of Okran Leaks, or no, the Okran Leaks say that, or I think in the interview that he gave to Omar Chaparro that they published, that he said that he got the idea from, or they got the idea from seeing El Cartel Los Sapos. And when he said that, I thought that's what he thinks, but I feel like Chapo and his father and everyone else got the idea from me and my brother. You know? Because, you know, at that time, they were still asking if there was something we couldn't believe that, you know, we basically reached out to the government and decided to cooperate on our own. And turn
Repeat that? That came through muffled. Say it again.
Yeah, at that time, they still couldn't believe, you know, that we had reached out to the government on our own and decided to cooperate. You get me? At that time, it was still, like, in the beginning, it was still unbelievable to them, you know? Like, to everyone. And them knowing the business and understanding that more than anyone, I believe that on those private conversations, they could have said, yeah, I don't blame them. And then later on, they brought it to their own sons, trying to get them to, you know, to do the same things, and the sons refused. But I guess we're just ahead of our time, as we always been, right?
Do you think the truth will come to light soon on exactly what happened, or are we always going to be
tomorrow? By tomorrow, by, like, you know, in the next few days, because can you imagine the havoc that's already gonna happen right now in Culiacan? Dude, they're probably plotting right now how they're gonna try to get back, and I believe that everyone's, you know, on the table basically. There's no one off the table, and of the things that could happen.
Street fallout, political fallout, cartel fallout, all kind of different fallout.
I just feel like I said in the beginning, if he turned himself in, it would have been just because he's dying. And he's like, okay, I'll let you have me for the last, you know, couple weeks of my life in exchange for something. So my brother, like, gang, we don't even know if his son could already be in the U.S. and no one knows about it, right? That's a good, you know, different perspective, different point of view. That could happen, but
we've heard 1,000 different theories in the chat already. You know what I'm saying? In just the 2.5 hours that we've been here. We're going to keep hearing that until the facts come out. And even then, even still with all the facts, people are going to choose what they choose. You know, just what it is. Somebody said, oh, Metro told them it's either get on the plane or you're going to die.
I'm glad that they don't pay them people to think.
Jay, what do you think is going to happen with the rest of the Chapitos who declined the deal? Will they fight Maldito Flaco or get close?
Anthony, we're talking about the biggest betrayal of one of the biggest drug lords in the history of drug lords. There is no getting closer. This basically sets them even farther apart than they have ever been. Alright? Like, there's no returning after this. Like, that's it. The fact, I just feel like they have that prize where I really think that all the top people could have probably got 10, 15 years. Or less for someone like Mayo. The problem is that they don't want to go to prison, you know? It's scary to them, so, my thought would have been like they would have all turned themselves in, and said, here, we're going to give you him, and then we'll come in and turn ourselves in and do their time. That happens. It's to be, I guess a watered down, right? Version of drug traffickers and cartel that, hopefully will change the perspective of the culture, right? Of what they think is this Scarface type of mentality. But and on the other side, it's just scary. All these people just that follow the culture all around the world, especially in the United States. They're just like, oh yeah, dirty is in. Dirty is in.
Shout out Blue Loke for the $4.99 super chat. He said, "Hey, Mr. Twin, don't let no MF call you a snitch, cause y'all laid the path for them to get out the game. Y'all just had to do more time, cause y'all was the first to do it."
Yeah, I think that we basically trailblazers in that kind of sense, and people are gonna be like, "No, you weren't." In the Mexican side of it, right? Because, like I said, the Colombians were doing it. We're doing it for a long time. So it's again at that time. We're not looking to be trailblazers, but I will tell you this: as I'm talking to you now, and I'm seeing you be on live and seeing all these news reports, they're everywhere right now, right? I did really foresee that me and my brother, when we started cooperating, that when I said it before, that I thought that we're basically it was going to be like we're going to drop the atomic bomb on the Mexican drug cartel. For real, because I was not planning to wear wires and testify in court. I was like thinking that I was going to give them their locations and they're going to go arrest the 3 biggest jugglers in the world, and one of them that people never talked about is Arturo Beltran Leyva, who was by far one of the most wealthiest drug lords there was, and people don't know who he is, but that was my that was me and my brother's actual thought, like we're gonna give him something that and again it didn't turn out that way for whatever reasons, but that was our thought, right? So there's this book. I think I'm gonna look for it. I'm not sure if it's out already, but Anabel Hernandez actually did it, and here we are talking about another drug lord. But I want you to check it out. Let's see if it's actually like an audible, if it's in English or something. I want to see what she has to say. But the book is about Arturo Beltran Leyva, and she basically wrote a book about an interview because she interviewed this mistress of his. Crazy story. She was married, and I guess her husband knew that, she was his mistress, and she, says a lot of stories and anecdotes basically of stuff that I actually was, involved with at one time, and other sides of certain events that I was actually participating in. And it's just a reminder, like I was listening to it and I was like, oh my God, like it kind of brings me back to some of the stuff that we don't talk about because, for many years, it's been Chapo. Like, I'll make it clear, like, I didn't name the podcast Surviving in Chapo, right? You know how that works, Sean. Our wives didn't name the book Cartel Wives, meaning it was a vote and they brought it to attention and, it's about selling entertainment, right? Everyone knows us as, like, the Twins would cooperate against Chapo, but if you look at the indictment, I've seen that, you put up a couple of those old videos about the grand jury statements. Chapo we moved less of Chapo's, drugs than actual Mayo's drugs.
Fox is saying Chapo's son made a deal and took Mayo as collateral. They both will be out in less than 10 with new names. That sounds like an opinion at the end, right?
Yeah. Probably less. I would say something for him. Like, I mean, one of these days, I don't know, for the greater good of the country, I might, put myself out there as a consultant, so, for people who are going to cooperate. But for someone like him, I mean, man, like that, like to do what they did, I mean, man, I think, even, just understanding all the stuff they did, maybe 5 years would have been, a good deal for them. But then again, you guys gotta understand these. Even though we're talking about them right now, they're not like they're the worst of the worst, right? When it comes to drugs, they'll probably kill anyone just because they're having a bad day. But one thing's for sure: you take away that money, you take away, I guess that Mexico from them, and then they're basically, No one, man.
Right.
It's like it's weird because people like I never felt that way. Like why I feel comfortable being able to walk free and do all that? It's because I never felt that way. I never thought that. I never considered myself to be like that. They're the ones that have the bigger issues,
Right.
I'm.
Shout out Anthony for the $4.99 super chat. He said, under any circumstances would they allow the Zambada brothers to see their dad? Not sure about El Gordo, but Vicente is part of the program.
I'm gonna teach you something, guys. No matter what, you guys gotta use your regardless of what you think, you can't be blind by common sense. The government can't stop you from seeing anyone. You know what I mean? Until he's found guilty, he has rights, for visits, he has rights for phone calls. For your father, for your loved ones, the program's not what you think, guys. There has expiration date, and at the end of the day, when you're someone like that, the government, it's in their best interest that, they see their family and stuff like that, and basically try to, I'm sure that the family will try to get them on Team USA, so, yeah, they're going to see their father. The only way they're going to see their father, how about that? Even this what's happening to him is going to allow them to see their father.
Rumor is on U.S. side, through Los Chapitos guys, is Mayo's son was kidnapped and tortured till he convinced his pops to turn himself in. El Güero Moreno was there to make sure he turned himself in.
Okay, but he's kind of saying the same thing. So you're saying that Mayo's son, you're talking about Mayito Flaco? That's, again, right, that's possible.
Right.
That's possible because he's old, what he would do for his son. That's possible, right? Mm-hmm. I just don't see everything that. Here's the thing: I'm thinking him as a father, but I'm also thinking of him like I know him, and he would be like, "Damn, too bad." You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying, too bad because I don't know if he would be able to trust them.
Right. Y'all, I'll turn myself in. Y'all murk him anyway, slowly.
Yeah, what I'm saying is as a father, do I see him doing it? At his age, yeah, for his son, yeah. I don't know if I see his son asking him for that, No, it's possible, right? But I like that one better.
Yeah, that one makes more sense to you. Salutes Albert Flores.
so that one, here's someone that comes in the chat saying, let me tell you what I heard, but yeah, that one makes better sense because you have to be in those situations of being tied up for you to understand.